All right. So sorry about the previous live. The weather is actually disrupting it. Well, just do well to let me know of any slight um switch in network. All right. If there's any slight switch in network, okay, just let me know. All right. So no, because network will not stop us this morning. We'll definitely proceed. All right. Okay. So now let's look at the so let me explain the solution of this. Like I said, you open the bracket, rather open the bracket. This plus sign would affect would be multiplied by what is inside here. We have 2i plus 9j minus 3k plus I minus 4j plus 8k. So you have 3i plus 5j plus 5k, which is exactly what we got here. All right. So now let's do the second one, which is 2a minus 3b. Now let's do 2a minus 3b. All right. So for 2a minus 3b, we are still using the same vectors, so there's no need substituting, or there's no need storing these vectors again, because we are still using the same vectors. So what you do is this simple: 2a minus 3b. So you write 2 first, then bring vector a, because it's vector a minus 3 vector b. So say 2a. So you press shift. After pressing shift, press 5. This is what you see on your screen. Okay, then your vector a is 3, so press 3. Are you seeing that we have 2 vector a? All right, minus 3b, so press minus. Press your minus sign. Then we have 3b. So how do you get 3b? So you press 3, then press shift again. To anytime you want to bring in vector, press shift and 5. All right, then vector b is 4. As you can see, vector b is 4. So you have 2 vector a minus 3 vector b, which is exactly what is here that we are told to look for. All right, so press equal to. So press equal to. So this is what we have. So we have 1 first. That one is for I. All right, that one is for I. So there's no need writing 1i. Just say I. All right, just say I. Then if you move, use your arrow button, move. What do you have? 30. Now that is plus 30j. Then still move. What do you have? Minus 30. So that will be minus 30k. Minus 30k. All right, minus 30k. So that's for 2a minus 3b. Now let's solve it manually if we get this. Now we have 2a minus 3b. All right, so what is vector a? So we write 2 here, then we put vector a in brackets. So 2 vector a, that is 2i plus 9j minus 3k. Then minus 3 vector b will be 3. What is vector b? Vector b is I minus 4j plus 8k. Okay, so if we multiply in, we have 2 times 2, which will give us 4i. 2 times 9 will give us 18j. 2 times minus 3 will give us minus 6k. All right, will give us minus 6k. Then now for this one, we have minus 3 times I will give us minus 3i. Minus 3 times minus 4j. Minus times minus is plus, so 3 times 4 will give us 12 plus 12j. Then minus 3 times plus 8 will give us 3 times 8 is 24. All right, so this will give us minus times plus is minus now, right? 3 times 8 is 24, so we have 24k. So what we have to do here is to collect like terms. 4i minus 3i is 1i, which is just I. We don't write 1i. Whenever ij or k is 1, we don't write that. So 4 minus 3 is I. 18 plus 12. 18 plus 12 is 30. So we have plus 30j. Minus 6 minus 24 is minus 30. So we have minus 30k. Are you seeing that this is the answer we got with our calculator? I plus 30j minus 30k. All right, but look at the time that it took me to solve this. I would have just used my calculator. The time it took me to use my calculator was actually shorter. All right, so now the next one is minus 4a plus b. Minus 4a plus b. So how do we do that? Press your minus, then press 4, then bring vector a, because they say minus 4a. Bring vector a. How do you bring vector a? Anytime you want to bring a vector, like I say, press shift, then you press 5. All right, so look at vector A there. Vector A is 3, so press 3. Okay, all right, so press 3. Then after pressing 3, okay, you have vector A here, then plus B, so press plus, then bring vector B, so press shift and press 5 again. Vector B is 4, so press 4. All right, so are you seeing what we are having now? Minus 7, so we have minus 7i, so we have minus 7i, minus 7i, minus 40, minus 40j, then what? 20k plus 20k. Now see, note, if any value here does not carry a sign, like look at this 20 here, if it doesn't carry a sign, just know that it's plus. If it doesn't carry minus, know that it's plus. All right, look at this one, carry minus, minus 7. The first one is always I, second is always j, third is always k. All right, so this is what you have now. This is what you have now. All right, so that is for addition and subtraction. Now let's go to product, vector product, that is multiplication of vectors. So we have dot product and we have cross product. All right, we have dot product and we have cross product. How do you solve dot products? All right, how do you solve dot products? So we have vector A, we have vector A dot vector B. That's dot product. Both of them are under vector multiplication. So how do you bring vector A? So like I said, you press shift and press 5. Then you say 3. That way you brought vector A. Sorry, let's do it again. Shift 5, then 3. That way you've brought vector A. Okay, so we have dot products there. We have dot products there. So it means that when we say dot product, we are talking about the product that will involve us to directly solve for the multiplication of each terms. Like when we have I, we have j, we have k. All right, okay, so when we have I, we have j, we have k. All right, someone is saying the person thinks solving manually is shorter. Solving manually is not shorter. Manually, when you have dot product and cross product, the reason why it's as if it's taking time is because I'm taking my time to explain it. Cross product, for instance, now will take you almost 5 minutes to finish, if not more. So don't think that way. Don't think that solving manually is shorter. All right, so now A dot, like I said, bring vector A, which we did. Then how do you get dots now? Dots now will be shift, okay, then press 5 again to bring dots. Press 5. Look at dots. Dot is number 7, so press 7. You can see dots here. So then bring vector B, press shift, press 5. Vector B is number 4, so press 4. So this is vector A dot vector B, so press equal to. So what are you having? Minus 58. That's your answer. Now dot products usually give us direct answers. All right, so we have minus 58. Whenever you're solving for dot product, it gives you a direct answer. Now let me solve it manually. Remember that we have 2i plus 9j minus 3k, then dot what? Dot I minus 4j plus 8k. Now to solve this manually, you just have to multiply 2i times I, multiply 9j times minus 5j minus 3k times, multiply only the like terms, don't expand. So 2i times I will give you 2i squared plus 9 times minus 4. Okay, 9 times 4 normally will give you, I think, 36, if I'm not mistaken. 9 times 4 will give you 36, yes. So 9 times minus 4 will give you minus 36j squared. Minus 36j squared. Then minus 3k times plus k. Minus 3 times plus k. Minus times plus is minus. 3 times 8 is 24. So we have k squared. K times k is k squared. Now look at this. I squared, j squared, and k squared, they are all equals to 1. Okay, whenever you have I squared, j squared, and k squared, it means 1. All right, so what you do, just replace this I squared by 1. So this will be 2 times 1 minus 36 times 1 minus 24 times 1. So 2 times 1 will give you 2. So 2 minus 36 minus 24. 2 minus 36 will give you minus 34. Okay, minus 34 minus 24 will give you minus 58. Are you seeing? So this is how to solve it manually, but it did not take us long to get this with our calculator. Are you seeing it? All right. So now let's do the last one, A cross B. So how do you get cross? How do you get cross? But first of all, we bring out your vector. Say shift bring vector A. So you say shift, then you press 5, then bring vector A. Vector A is 3. So you press 3. That way you've brought vector A. So how do you do cross? Now cross is just multiplication sign. You say times. That is how cross. Cross is the multiplication sign. Then you press shift again. Bring vector B. Shift 5. Vector B is number 4. All right. So what did this give us? 60 minus 19 and minus 17. So we have 60i, then minus 19j, then what? Minus 17k. Minus 17k. All right, so this is your answer for the cross product. Like I said, cross is your multiplication sign, just multiplication. When you brought your vector A out, press multiplication, then bring in vector B, and that way you will be able to navigate through until you get your answer. All right, so that is that for vectors. Now there's also what we call magnitude of vectors. All right, there's what we call magnitude of vectors. Magnitude of vectors. Now when we say magnitude of vectors, for instance, now this vector A that we have here as 2i plus 9j minus 3k, 2i plus 9j minus 3k. If we want to calculate the magnitude, now magnitude of vectors is actually root of x squared plus y squared plus z squared. These x, y, and z are just representing the respective coefficients. All right, they are representing the respective what? Coefficients. Okay, so x squared plus y squared plus z squared is this coefficient. X is the coefficient of I, y is the coefficient of what's it called, of j, and z is the coefficient of k. So what do? We say a, we say magnitude is usually denoted as this, okay, with an absolute sign. Magnitude of A now will be square root of 2 squared, okay, plus bracket 9 squared, then plus bracket minus 3 all squared. Don't say minus 3 squared. Ensure you put everything, including the sign. What should separate all of them should be plus. What should separate all of them should be plus. All right, so it means that your magnitude now would be 2 squared is 4, 4 plus 9 squared is 81, plus minus 3 all squared will give you 9. Minus 3 all squared is same thing as minus 3 minus 3. All right, so it means that your magnitude of 4 plus 81 will give you 85, right? So 4 plus 81 will give you 85. 85 plus 9 will give you 64. Sorry, 94 if I'm not mistaken. Let's check it. 4 plus 81 plus 9. All right, 94. So square root of 94 is what we check now. So how do we get the square root? So we say square root of 94. So what would this give us? 9.695. So this is 9.695, which approximately, if you want to round it up to the nearest whole number, it will give you 10 okay, degrees. All right, 10 degrees, or 9.7, or we can say 9.7 degrees. Okay, so that's for magnitude. That's for magnitude. All right, that's for magnitude. Okay, so the whole idea is that you should express your answer in the form that would actually be easy for you. All right, solve your question in a form that will be easy for you, and that's what we just did. So we took advantage of the calculator shortcuts, and it helped us to achieve dots, cross, even addition, and also as well subtraction. All right, as well subtraction. So that is that for vectors. All right, So you can try this. It's in your past questions. You say if vector A is equals to I plus 2j, all right, minus 3k, and vector B is equal to 2i 2i minus 3j plus 4k. All right, now find a dot b. So now the options here are a minus 16, b 3i minus j plus k, c minus I minus 10j minus 7k. Then option D is minus I plus 5j minus 7k. So now let us check. So let's use this. Let's use manual method first to solve this. I times 2i will give us 2i squared, right? 2 times minus 3 will give us minus 6j squared. Minus 3 times plus 4 will give us minus 12k squared. So what do? Just carefully substitute 1 here. Substitute 1. So 2 minus 6 minus 12. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. Okay? Minus 4 minus 12 will give you minus 16, which is option A. All right. Now, if you see a question like this, without even solving, you should know that it's A. Do you know why? Because when you're doing dot product, you cannot have a vector as your answer. It must be a whole number. All right. When you're doing dot product, it must be a whole number. Okay. So it's very important to take note of that. All right. So okay. So now quickly that's the answer for that particular question. All right, so please don't forget the shortcut method, the shortcut approach to this. All right, don't forget that. Like I said, if you want to know the manual way of solving dot and cross product, especially cross product is very long. Okay, it uses matrices. If you want to know that method, you can just go search in my channel here. All right, for that. Okay, so if you can still hear me, if you're still with me and the network is smooth, you can please type in the comment box, I can hear you, sir. Type in the comment box, I can hear you, sir. Can hear you, sir. All right, so I would proceed. Okay, I'm waiting for your responses. All right, impressive. So we are making progress, huh? Now the next thing we'll be looking at now will be center of mass. All right, center of mass. Okay, now this center of mass is defined as the point. Okay, the point on the earth. The point on the earth where the mass of a substance, where the mass of a body, let's use body, of a body appears to be concentrated. All right, so that point on the earth where the mass of a body appears to be concentrated is known as center of mass. All right, so basically, how do we find center of mass? Center of mass can actually be in x. We can have x center of mass, y center of mass, and z center of mass. All right, we can ask x, we have x, y. This CM I wrote here is center of mass. Okay, center of mass. All right, so for x center of mass, now the idea now is that when you are finding the center of mass, you get the product of the mass of the body, okay, and its distance on the earth. All right, so x center of mass is usually m1 x1, okay, plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus dot mn xn, all divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus dot mn. So the idea is to multiply the mass of that body by the distance x. All right, then divide it by the sum of their masses. So depending on the number of bodies, all right, depending on the number of the bodies, okay, that's how you would actually express it. Okay, so this x center of mass. Now for y center of mass, it's only the only thing that changes is this x. So it will be m1 y1 plus m2 y2 plus m3 y3 plus dot 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 mn yn, all divided by still m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus mn, depending on the number of masses, the number of distances available. The same thing for z center of mass. Z center of mass is m1 z1 plus m2 z2 plus m3 z3 plus dot 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 mn zn, all divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3 dot mn. All right, so now basically, how do we solve a question like this? All right, how do we solve a question that is related to this? So I'll be giving you, we're solving a particular past question that is usually repeated. Now the question goes like this: say find the center find the center of mass of the system below, okay, of the system below. Okay, so find the center of mass of the system below. So now the options are A, 12 over 13 L, B, 4 over 12 L, then we have C, 21 over 13 L. This question has just 3 options. So look at the system here. We have something like this. I believe you must have seen this one way or the other. Okay, all right, so here we have 9 m naught. Down here x is equals to 2L. This one at the top is usually the mass, the one down is usually the distance. X is equals to Lx, while x is equals to 0 here. Now m naught here, then we have 3 m naught f. All right, 3 m naught f. So now how do we solve this? Now if you look at this, now you realize that because we have x here, it means that it is x center of mass, and we have 3 bodies, we have 3 objects. All right, so how do we navigate through this? So basically we approach this in this way. Now since we know that it's x center of mass, we state our formula: m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3. There are 3 masses, divided by m1 plus m2 plus m3. So now in this case, now m1 is what? M1 is m naught. M1 is m naught. M2 is 3 m naught f, while m3 is 9 m naught. So we have m1 to be m naught, m2 is 3 m naught f, then m3 is 9 m naught. That's for the masses. Then your x1 is the value, is these ones that you have down here, your x1, x2, x3. So we have x1 to be 0, x2 is Lx, while x3 is 2L. All right, 2L. Okay, so now we are told to determine the center of mass in this case. Which is not difficult. Now we would apply our formula for x center of mass. All right, for x center of mass. Now, so our x center of mass now will be m naught times m1 is m naught now, so m naught times 0 plus what is m2? M2 is 3 m naught f. What is the x2? Lx. Then m3 is what? M3 is 9 m naught. M3 is 9 m naught. What is x3? 2L. Then divided by m naught plus 3 m naught f, then plus 9 m naught. What should be down here should just be the masses. All right, should just be the masses. Then what you have at the top should be the product of the mass of the body and its distance. All right, it's distance. And another thing I need you to note is that sometimes they may not, it's not like they will give you all these variables. So sometimes they can give you values, sometimes you can be giving values. So either way, you should ensure that you multiply where necessary. All right, or multiply your m naught, then you must divide it by only what, only your masses, only your masses. All right, so please let's correct some. This is supposed to be L, not LX. Here is supposed to be L, not LX. All right, so it's from the question, so there is supposed to be L, this is supposed to be L. Okay, if you check your past question, this is only L, not LX. All right, so now let's quickly solve this. Now m naught times 0 is 0. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So we have 0 plus 3m naught f times L is 3m naught fl. All right, 3m naught what, fl. Okay, I think this f2 is from the question. This is not supposed to be f, there's not supposed to be f here, just 3m naught. So this is supposed to be 3m naught l. All right, this is supposed to be, let's strike this, so this will be 0 plus 3m naught l. All right, I think there was a typographical error in the question. There was not supposed to be f here, there's not supposed to be x here. All right, so here it's supposed to be 3, just 3m naught, 3m naught. All right, so now let's proceed. So this is 3m naught l, then plus 9m naught times 2l. 9 times 2 is what, 18. M naught times l is m naught l. Now divided by m naught plus 3m naught. Remember I told you that this is just 3m naught, not f. M naught plus 3m naught is 4m naught. 4m naught plus 9m naught is 4 plus 9 is what, 13. So we have 13 m naught. Okay, are you seeing that these are like terms? These have to be like terms before you can successfully add them. Now we multiply 3m naught by l. Remember we don't have f in 3m naught too, we don't have x in l. Okay, it was just a typographical error from the question. All right, so now this will be 0 plus 3m naught. Okay, 3m naught l and 18m naught l, they are like terms, so they can add. 0 is off because it's nothing. So 3m naught plus 18m naught will give you 21m naught l. 3m naught l plus 18m naught l, now divided by 13m naught. All right, so m naught can cancel m naught here, will be left to 21 over 13l as our final answer. 21 over 13l. So now let's check the options. So the option C is our answer. So you have to be very careful when you're solving things like this, to avoid any form of errors. All right, any form of errors. So that's for center of mass. Okay, that's for center of mass. Then let's say you're giving three masses. M1 equals to 4 kg, M2 equals to 7 kg, and 7 kg, and M3 equals to 9 kg. Okay, and their distances are x1, or let me say y1 is, let's say, 2 meters, y2 is 16 meters, and y3 is 8 meters. Now find y center of mass. Find y center of mass. So I want you to solve this, I want you to attempt this. All right, so I want us to look at the next item for this class. All right, while you attempt that, so I'll give you just 2 minutes to quickly attempt this. All right, if you can still hear me, please state that you can hear me, so I would know that the network is flowing well. Just state that you can hear me. Say that you can hear me. Okay, I just need a response. I can hear you, sir. Beautiful. Good. Nice one. All right, so please do this quickly. I'm waiting for your answers to drop. All right, waiting for your answers to drop. All right, so I can see your responses. Good. 48 over 5. 48 over 5. Okay. All right. 48 over 5. Okay. Good ones. If you've not attempted this, it will be best that you attempt it too, because what you solve on your own, okay, would be very smooth. As in, for you to solve and get a particular thing correctly, it means that you understood it clearly. Understood it clearly. All right. So I think that's enough time. That's enough time given. Okay. So basically for when I was talking about vectors, okay, there was something I skipped. All right, I skipped angles between vector products, or between vectors in multiplication. All right, so when we say angles, what is the angle that is formed? That's what we are looking for. The angles is also in degrees. Okay, now for dot products, angle between dot products, or angle, let's say angle between dot products, the formula is um theta is equals to cos inverse of a dot b divided by magnitude a magnitude b. That's the formula. Then for angle between cross products, okay, theta is equal to sine inverse of magnitude a cross b divided by magnitude a magnitude b. So these are the formulas for angles that are formed. All right, these are angles that are formed between dot product. This is for the angle that is formed between cross product. So now let's say we are given two vectors, vector a to be 6i plus 9j minus 3k, and vector b to be plus 2j 5i plus 2j minus k, and we are told to find a dot b, because we have to find a dot b first, then also find a cross b. Now angle between a dot b and angle between a cross b. All right, we have a question like this and we want to solve it. All right, so you say given what, given a equals to 6i plus 9j minus 3k, and b 5i plus 2j minus k, find a dot b, a cross b, angle between a dot b and angle between a cross b. But these things you're seeing are also crucial when it comes to vectors. All right, they're also crucial when it comes to vectors. Okay, so I want us to put that down. Yes, your answer is correct. 48 over 5. All right, 48 over 5 is correct. Now, but in decimal, that's 9.6. All right, so just divide 48 by 5 and write the decimal value. That is 9.6. Okay, so let me allow you to put this down, because I'm going to flip pages right away. So we can solve it. Okay, we can solve it, but we are going to use our calculator so we can be faster. All right. All right, so I believe you're done writing. So let's quickly solve this. All right, let's quickly solve this. So we have 6i plus 9j minus 3k, and we have 5i plus 2j minus k. Now, so let's solve for a dot b first, but we have to let's store our a. I will be fast on this one because I assume that you already know it. So let's store vector a and let's store vector b. So how do we do that? Remember, we press mode then after pressing mode, we set our calculator in vector. So press 8. Okay, so press, like I said, press mode, press 8, then press 1. But in fact, the best thing, first of all, clear your calculator, because remember we stored values before. So clear your calculator. So press shift 9 3 equal to, then AC to clear your calculator. Like I said, to clear your calculator, you press what? Shift 9 3 equal to, and your AC button. All right, and your AC button. Okay, so that way we have cleared what we stored before as vector a and vector b. So now let's press mode. You press mode, then press 8. Look at vector in number 8. Press 8. Then after that, press 1. Vector a, store vector a now. 1. After pressing 1, you see 3 and 2. What this means is 3 dimension and 2 dimension. So press 1 so you can use 3 dimension. Then now input your different values. So what do you have here? Your first value is the coefficient. It's only the coefficients that you're imputing. 6, 9 minus 3. Then when you go to b, you impute 5, 2 and minus 1. All right, so we say 6, then we say equal to, the next one is 9, press 9, equal to, next one is minus 3, press minus 3. All right, this way now you have stored these parameters, you store these values now in vector. You have to be very careful with storing, if not you'll get the wrong answer. You have to ensure that you store what is right. Look at, we stored 6 and we stored 9 and we stored minus 3. So now to store vector b, what do you do? Press shift this time around, then press 5. Okay, shift 5, then press your dimension, that is 1. Press 1, press 1. Okay, then look at vector b there. Vector b is number 2. So press 2. Then look at you have 3 dimensions. So press 1 to use 3 dimension. Press 1. So this time around, impute your coefficients 5, 2 and minus 1. So you say 5, you have 5, you press equals to, press 2, press equals to, then press minus 1. This way now you have stored your values. Like I said, you have to be very, very careful. You stored your values as your b. So what you have to do now is to solve for a dot b. So now let's solve for a dot b. So we press usage, we press on. So press on this time, so you can go to the main screen. So how do you now bring your vector a? Vector a is simple. You press shift, then press 5. Anytime you want to bring a vector, press shift and 5. Then look at vector a there. Vector a is number 3. To press 3. Then after pressing 3, you brought in your vector a. Now dot b. How do you get dots? Simple. Press shift, then still press 5. Now look at dot. Dot is in number 7. So press 7, then introduce vector b. How do you do that? Press shift, press 5. Look at vector b looking at you there. Vector b is number 4. So now if you look at it, vector a dot vector b, press equals to, what do you have? 51. So it means that vector a dot b, the answer is what? 51. The answer to that is 51. So now let's do a cross. So we have done a dot b. Now let's do a cross b. All right, let's do a cross b. So now to do a cross b, it's simple as well. Bring in, since we are using the same values, it will not be difficult. So bring in vector a. So bring in vector a. All right, so you press shift, then you press 5. Then look at vector a. Vector a is number 3. So you press 3. So vector a cross b. How do you get cross? Cross is multiplication sign. So you press your multiplication sign, that is times. Then bring in vector b. How do you get vector b? You press shift again, press 5. Then look at vector b there. Vector b is number 4. So press 4. So you press equal to. So now look at your answer. Remember, I told you that cross product will always give you a vector. Again, But when it comes to dot product will give you an answer, like a whole number. So now the vector that gave us -3, -9, and -33. So we have this is equals to -3i, -9j, and -33k. Okay, -3, -9, -33. Now if you solve this, if you had solved this thing manually, by now you'll still be solving. But look at how fast we were in solving it with our calculator. All right, so now we've been able to get our been able to get the vectors. All right, we've been able to get the vectors, the a dot b and a cross b. Now let's solve for angle between a dot b. Now this angle between a dot b, now we'll have to solve it manually. So cos inverse of a dot b over magnitude a magnitude b. So now let us first of all get magnitude a and magnitude b, because we already have a dot b, which is 51. So let's solve for magnitude a and magnitude. Remember, I told you how to solve for magnitude. So magnitude is, we have 6, 9, and -3. Okay, so let's solve for magnitude. So magnitude a would be square root of, what are our coefficients here? Our coefficients are, for vector a, we have 6, 9, and -3. So we say 6 squared, okay, plus 9 squared, then plus -3 squared. Like I told you, it's only their coefficient you put in bracket and square each of them. Now look, ensure that it's only plus, it's plus sign that is separating 6, 9, and -3. The next one is 5, 2, and -1. What is the coefficient of k here? -1. 5, 2, and -1. So it means that our vector b will be root of 5 squared, 2 squared, plus -1 all squared. Are you seeing it? So this is magnitude b, magnitude a. So now let's solve for magnitude a now. Let's solve for magnitude a. So this will be square root of 6 squared is 36, plus 81, plus 9. All right, and 9 squared is 81, 6 squared is 36, -3 squared is 9. All right, then magnitude b will give us what? 25 plus 4, then plus 1. So 36 plus 81 plus 9. Let's solve it. So 36 plus 81, then plus 9. All right, so this is giving us 126. So this is equals to square root of 126. Why this one? 25 plus 4 plus 1 is 30. So square root of 30. All right, I hope we are doing it rightly. Okay, yes. So let's get the square root of 126 now. So square root of 126 will give us 11.225 approximately. So this will give us 11.225. all right, that's our magnitude a. Then square root of 30, root 30 will give us 5.477. So root 30 will give us 5.477. all right, so these are our magnitudes. So now how do we solve for, now that we've gotten our magnitude, how do we solve for the dot product? Let's start with dot product. So angle between dot products is sine inverse, cos inverse rather. Look at it here now, it's cos inverse. Okay, it's cos inverse, not it's sine inverse. That is, sine inverse is for cross, cos inverse is for dots. So this cos inverse of a dot b all over magnitude a magnitude b. So this will be cos inverse. What did a dot b give us? A dot b gave us 51, if I'm not mistaken. They gave us 51. So this would be 51 divided by your magnitude a. Magnitude a gave us 11.225. So it's 11.225 times magnitude b gave us 5.477. all right, 5.477. okay, all right. So now this will be equals to cos inverse of 51 divided by, now 11.225. Let's do it. 11.225 times 5.477. okay, what would this give us? 61.479. so 61.479. okay, let's be sure. 11.225 times 5.477, 61.479. So now this will be equals to cos inverse of, let's divide now, 51. So let's just do it straight up, although in fact let's do it step by step. 51 divided by 61.479. Okay, 61.479. What this give us? 0.82955. So cos inverse of 0.82955. We have to be very careful with approximation. So 0.82955. If possible, save to avoid issues, give as many decimal places as possible if you've not gotten your final answer. All right. So cos inverse, how do you get cos inverse? Cos inverse is simple. Press shift, then press cos. Press shift and cos. Look at cos here. Look at shift. Press shift and cos. Then put it in bracket. You have 0.82955. 0.82955. Close the bracket. So what do you have here? 33.947. This equals to 33.947, which is approximately 34 degrees. So that's your angle. So your angle theta is 34 degrees. So this is the angle between the dot product. All right, this is the angle between the dot product. So now let's calculate the angle between the cross product. All right, let's calculate the angle between the cross product. Now the formula is sine theta is equals to sine inverse of magnitude A cross B divided by magnitude A magnitude B. Now, do you know why you're having magnitude A cross B here? It's because your A cross B did not give you a particular value. I need a particular value here to divide. It did not give you a particular value. Look at what it gave us now. Look at what it gave us. It gave us minus 3i minus 9j minus 33k. So your cross product will always give you a vector. In order for you to actually solve for the angle, you must ensure that you transcribe this thing into a value, a numerical value. So what do? You get the magnitude of your A cross B, which is still the same thing. So magnitude of A cross B. What did we get as our A cross B? A cross B gave us what? A cross B gave us 3i minus 9j, then minus what? 3i minus 9j minus 33k. Okay, so we have 3i minus 9j minus 33k. That's what we got to as our A cross B. So we have to get the magnitude of this first. So what do? We say 3 squared plus minus 9 squared, then plus minus 33 all squared. All right. So this will now be square root of 3 squared is what? Or let's just put it in the calculator straight up. Because we don't have all the time. So let's just open your root here. Then put 3. Put 3 all squared. Then plus another bracket minus 9 all squared. Then plus another bracket minus 33 all squared. So that will give you 1173. All right, but we have to be very sure. Our calculators can be funny sometimes. So this is 9 plus 81, then plus minus 33 squared is what? Minus 33 squared is minus 100. Minus 33 all squared, rather, remember, is all squared. Minus 33 all squared is minus 33 times minus 33. Give us 1089. All right, you cannot have a negative value here. 1089. So now this will be square root of 9 plus 81. Okay, 9 plus 81, then plus 1089. So what do we have? Okay, we have 1179. 1179. So what is the square root of 1179? So square root of 1179 will give us 34.336. 34 point what? 336. All right, which is approximately 34.3 degrees as our answer. So this is the angle between the cross product, while this is the angle between the dot product. All right, that's the angle between the dot product. Now someone is saying, I thought we had been already given, okay, already gotten magnitude of A. Already gotten magnitude of A. So hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's cross check what we did though. This hold on. This 34.3. This 34.3. Oh, sorry. This 34.3. This is our A cross B. Oh. This is our A cross B. Okay, this is our A cross B. We have not divided it by our magnitude A and magnitude B. Look at our magnitude A and magnitude B. We have already gotten before. So when we got the square root of this gave us 34.3. So what do we say? We say 34.3 divided by we divided by the magnitude of A and magnitude B. We don't have to skip that. We have to be very careful. So magnitude A, this 34.336 rather. Okay, let's cross this. This 34.336 is just the magnitude of A cross B. We have to still divide it by magnitude A and magnitude B. So where is magnitude A? Magnitude A, we got magnitude A as 11.225. So this is 11.225 times 5.477. Now this will give us 34.336 divided by, when we multiply this by this, we got 61.479. 61.479. All right, thank God that I looked at that again. All right, so we have 34.336 divided by 61. Remember this, there's there's sign inverse here. Remember there's sign inverse. All right, there's sign inverse, then sign inverse to get our theta. So this will be divided by 61.479. all right, what did we get? 0.558. 0.5585. all right, approximately 0. Then when we divide 34.336 by 61.479, we are getting 0.5585. 0.5585. all right, so sine inverse of this, now our theta, remember, is sine inverse of this 0.5585. all right, this is equal to this, our theta. Remember, look at our formula here that I give now. Theta is sine inverse of this guy, so we have to get A cross B first as our 34.336. then now we divided it by 11.225 times this. This was the magnitude A that we got, and magnitude B we got 61.479. when we multiply, then we divided, we got this. So now sine inverse of 0.5585, how do we get that? It's very simple. So press shift and sine, you get sine inverse. So sine inverse of 0.5585 equal to 33.95. So this is 33.95. okay, to the nearest whole number, that this will be 34 degrees. So now if you look at it, our angle between the cross product and the angle between the dot product are the same, but it's not always going to be like that. Sometimes it's just a coincidence. All right, it's just a mere coincidence. So you have to be very careful when solving. Ensure that if you're calculating the angle between the dot product is cos inverse of A dot B over magnitude A magnitude B. When you've got your magnitude A magnitude B, there's no need getting it again here. Just substitute it and solve, and we got this as our final answer. All right, we got that as our final answer. So now I want you to try this. Let's say you're giving vector x as 6i minus 4j plus 2k, and vector y to be minus 3i minus 5j minus k. Now find A dot B, A cross B, angle between A dot B and angle between A cross B. All right, so find this when you have these two vectors. All right, or in this case now, we in this case now, we can, this A dot B, sometimes they can tell you A dot B and you're giving x and y here. You might be confused, which one is, where is the A dot B? Now, like I told you, this is the same, this A dot B is the same thing as x dot y, x cross y, angle between x dot y and angle between x cross y. Take your x as your A and take your y as your B. All right, so just note that even when you're solving with your calculator, take this x as your A and take this y as your b, and then you solve. All right, and then you solve. So that's the idea. That's the idea here. Okay, that's the idea here. So that's it. So the next thing we'll be looking at would be collision. All right, collision. But I would stop this particular live and resume another live, so we would not have network interferences. All right, so let me resume another live, because I'm noticing some slight glitches already due to the weather. All right, so I would end this live right now and resume another live where we'll look at collision of particles and, of course, exam focused questions. All right, so if you're not subscribed to this channel, do well to hit the subscribe button. Okay, you can also share this particular live video and the first one that I did to your colleagues, so they can also benefit from all that we have learned so far. All right, so we've been able to treat vectors. You're going to treat all the vector addition, subtraction, multiplication, dots, cross products, and angles between dot and cross product. We've treated magnitude. We've treated center of mass. Okay, treated center of mass. All right, so see you in the next